Axel, we need to talk about this fetish you have. This is an intervention. You have an addiction, and it isn't healthy.
It isn't even that serious. You're making it sound like showing people One Piece is some kind of kink or something.
My dude, this is serious. We're only one saga in, and you've ruined like 3 pairs of pants already.
Okay, but to be fair, it was pretty hype, right?
You've gotta get this out of your system. You should just make a video about all the moments you love in East Blue so we can move on with our lives.
Oh, that's pretty smart, actually. Alright, let's do it. So, recently I've been watching One Piece from the beginning as I show it to my friend Kevin for the first time, and today we're going to be talking about the moments in the first saga, the East Blue, that got me the most hyped. The moments where, as soon as the episode began, I knew exactly how impacted someone would be for watching it the first time. And whenever I show someone the series, they will never fail to either shout in excitement or become shocked at how sad the show can be. Now, a few things before we start. Firstly, if you all want to help me give a Christmas present to my boy Kevin, his YouTube channel is called Who Asked You. He's nearly at 300 subs, and he makes a lot of really cool content, and he showed me the list for the next year. It's going to be amazing, so go check him out and leave a comment saying I sent you. Next up, obviously there are spoilers for the early arcs of One Piece, so if you haven't seen it, be warned, but also go watch One Piece, what the hell are you doing? And finally, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. With that being said, let's get into the video. These are all in order of appearance in the series, so don't worry about which is better than the other, they're all great. When it comes to One Piece, one of my favorite moments in the first few episodes is Luffy meeting Zoro for the first time. Preceding their meeting, a young girl tries to feed Zoro an onigiri, and Helmeppo shows up to crush it into the dirt before having the girl thrown out of the marine base. Once Helmeppo leaves, Luffy pops in and starts talking to Zoro about how he's a good guy and he should join the crew, and Zoro basically tells him to get the hell away from him. The part of the interaction I really like though is just before Luffy leaves, Zoro asks him to feed him the onigiri from the ground, and then tells the girl that it was delicious, despite it being a dirt and sugar-filled onigiri. We don't really get a ton of wholesome or cute scenes with Zoro, so this is one that I've always loved. Also in Romance Dawn, we see Luffy about to leave as the Marines order him out of the town, and Koby is faced with the choice of either admitting he's Luffy's friend or becoming a Marine. Here, Luffy sees that Koby is struggling to make a decision and eggs him on to the point where Koby throws a punch, and Luffy returns the favor by hitting him back. A moment which solidified to the Marines that these two have nothing to do with each other. And it's a scene that really shows how Luffy can understand what people want or need and take actions to cut through the bullshit and be straightforward with acting on it. In episode 4, we get Luffy's flashback, and most importantly, we meet Shanks. And it isn't like I can pinpoint a singular moment here, but instead it's just kind of Shanks in general. From his cool and collected attitude to just how terrifying he could be. The first moment where we really get a sense of what Shanks is like is when Higuma soaks Shanks in booze, and Shanks and his crew just kinda laugh it off because there's no point in getting upset over a little bit of spilled booze. Which is not exactly the pirate attitude that we've expected, especially in contrast with the first other pirate that we met, Alvida, who was furious at literally everything. Then we have Shanks' speech. He shows up when Higuma kidnaps Luffy, and Shanks comes in with this fierce monologue about how he doesn't care what happens to him, but he won't accept anyone harming his friends. Higuma has one of his men pull a gun on Shanks, and Shanks doesn't even flinch. He just asks, "Now that you've pulled a gun, are you willing to use it?" Guns are for actions, not threats. And Lucky Roo fucking shoots Higuma's henchman with zero hesitation, literally making it seem like something super casual as he just continues to eat while he murders this man in cold blood. Then of course we have Shanks scaring off the Sea King, which is our first look at conquerors in the series. And of course Luffy starts bawling when he realizes that Shanks lost his arm when saving him, and Shanks just smiles and says, "It's just an arm, I have another one," giving zero concern for himself as long as Luffy was safe. Finally, the iconic scene where Luffy tells Shanks that he's going to be king of the pirates and surpass him, and Shanks giving him his straw hat, where they make a promise that once Luffy has become a great pirate, they can meet each other again and he can return the hat. God, I fucking love Shanks. This whole episode just shows both ranges of what his character can be, the calm and funny guy that just really doesn't care and is very aloof, and the very serious, badass man we know he is later in the series. Jumping ahead to Syrup Village, this arc is pretty meh. But there are a few things that I really like specifically through it. There is a precedent set early on that Usopp regularly runs into the village, screams about pirates to stir things up, and then the villagers obviously aren't too fond of this and chase him off in a mob every single day. However, as the arc goes on, we get Usopp's backstory and find out that he originally did this to bring hope to his mother and himself, that Yasopp would return to take care of her. And after she died, he just kept doing this to keep his own spirits up. However, Captain Kuro starts his attack, and Usopp can't go back to the village that day. And we see all of the villagers basically waiting at the door and the windows for him to stop by, almost upset that he isn't showing up because it's become such a big part of their daily lives. Finally, as Usopp leaves the village, the Usopp pirates run into town yelling, "Pirates are coming, pirates are coming." And it's just a super wholesome cap to that story. In episode 19, we have Zoro's backstory, all of which is solid. But the moment when Zoro challenges Kuina at night, and they finally begin understanding each other, is always amazing. As she knocks him down and stabs into the ground next to his head, they both kind of break down and start opening up. Zoro about his feelings of inferiority, and Kuina about her impending weakness, eventually making their vow to become the world's strongest swordsman. Then, the next day, Kuina dies, and Zoro just breaks. He asks his master if he can have her sword, and vows that he will become such a famous and talented swordsman that his name will even reach her in heaven, so that she'll know that he kept their promise after all this time. An incredibly beautiful sentiment. The Baratie Arc, the arc where the story begins its transition into the iconic story that we all know and love, and our introduction to Sanji. We get this scene where Full Body brings his girlfriend to the Baratie, and even called ahead so that he could ask for a specific wine, and he could show off by guessing the name of it at dinner. To which Sanji brings a different wine and calmly tells him that he's wrong, all before starting to flirt with this man's girlfriend right in front of him. The amount of big dick energy in Sanji's first scene is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, that really doesn't compare to when Mihawk shows up, though. Having followed Don Krieg's men from the Grand Line on what is essentially a raft with a throne on it, he slices through their massive galleon and sinks it into the ocean. When asked why he followed them all the way back to the East Blue, he just kind of shrugs it off and says he wanted to pass the time. Imagine someone showing up, devastating you like that in an instant, all because he was bored. Then we get his fight with Zoro, which, guys, holy fuck, just the banter in this fight. Zoro walks up with his 3 swords, and Mihawk pulls out his pocket knife, which he keeps on his necklace, saying you wouldn't use a cannon on a fly, and that it's unfortunate that he doesn't carry a smaller blade. If Sanji had big dick energy, I don't even know what Mihawk has. The whole fight is so amazing, just seeing him walk all over Zoro with no effort. This is all followed by Zoro giving his famous "scars on the back are a swordsman's shame" line, as he opens himself up for a slash from Mihawk. And then his "I will never lose, is that okay, King of the Pirates" moment, which are some of the best moments in the entire early saga. As the arc goes on, we get one of my favorite Straw Hat backstories with Sanji and Zeph. The two are shipwrecked on an island with no hope of escaping on their own, and they essentially have to just wait with the 2 bags of food that they have on the island until help arrives. Zeph takes the much bigger bag and tells Sanji to wait on the other side of the island. After 47 days in the anime, or 85 in the manga, Sanji is on the brink of starving to death. He takes a knife and tries to sneak up behind the old man to steal his food, willing to kill Zeph if he needs to, but instead, when he cuts into the bag, which is still seemingly full, he finds nothing but treasure, not a scrap of food. Zeph had nothing this whole time and had given Sanji everything. Well, in the anime at least. However, in the manga, while Zeph still gives Sanji the food, he does have something to eat, as he survives by eating his own leg instead, rather than it being taken in the shipwreck incident. Of course, this is all capped off at the end of the arc when Sanji is on his hands and knees crying and saying goodbye, while he thanks Zeph for all that he's done. Now we finally reach Kokoyashi Village, and this arc is so fucking good, guys. But let's be real, there are 2 moments which are just on another level. Firstly, Nami's backstory. We get this scene with Nami and her adopted mother Bellemere falling out as Nami gives her the old "you're not my real mom." But then, the Arlong pirates show up to Kokoyashi Village and assert their dominance. Arlong will be the new lord of the land, and everyone will have to pay massive taxes to him. And as Nami and her sister Nojiko are being told to leave and being pulled out of the village, Bellemere gives Arlong her tax, then explains that it's for her 2 kids and that she's choosing their lives over her own. And if you didn't absolutely shut down when Bellemere calls to her kids, the music cuts out and you hear her say, "I love you," just as a gunshot sounds off. This scene is the definition of powerful. But of course, the second scene we're going to talk about here is just as great. It's probably the most iconic scene in the whole series, at least for me. It's the moment where One Piece viewers become One Piece fans. Nami is just about at her 100 million berry mark when Arlong sends the Marines to steal everything from her. As she's left with nothing and betrayed by Arlong, she falls to her knees and screams. As she stabs at her Arlong tattoo on her shoulder, Luffy walks up and she tells him to leave, saying it has nothing to do with him and he shouldn't even be here to begin with. He just agrees and waits. And as her tantrum continues, her screams start to turn to tears. She turns to Luffy and just says, "Help me." He plants his hat on her head and the camera pans out as the whole crew is waiting behind him to begin their epic walk to Arlong Park. I could sit here and suck this scene off all day, but I think everyone who's watched this knows how amazing it is. And if you've ever shown One Piece to a new fan and had the pleasure of seeing them react to this scene, it is just on another level. No one is ever ready for this scene, and I absolutely love it. In Logtown, we get a pair of great filler episodes that I love. Firstly, we see Luffy visiting an old man at a bar who sees Gold Roger in Luffy and gains faith in the new age of pirates. And the second is Usopp challenging Daddy Masterson. These are filler events done right, in my opinion, but I won't focus too much on them because, in the end, they are just filler. What isn't filler, though, is Luffy sitting on the exact same execution platform as Goldie Roger, and as Buggy tries to behead him, he just smiles and laughs, accepting his death and enjoying the journey he's had, all before a lightning bolt drops down and saves him at the very last minute. Similarly, in his battle with Smoker, where he can't even lay a finger on the Marine, he's only spared because Dragon shows up at the last second, and even that scene is really hype. However, the latter is only really amazing retroactively in my opinion. At the time when you're watching it for the first time, you don't know who Dragon is. It's just kind of confusing. Finally, there's really only one way to end this. It's not really a scene that people jump to when they think, what are some of the most emotional or impactful scenes in One Piece? But anytime you show this scene to someone or someone thinks about the scene, it's something they really enjoy, and it's really powerful in terms of the theme of dreams in One Piece. The last episode of the saga, the crew is all on the merry, and they're each putting one foot on a barrel to say their dreams for their journey. To become the king of the pirates, to become the world's greatest swordsman, to be a great warrior of the sea, to chart a map of the whole world, and to find the All Blue. It was a perfect way to send them off into the Grand Line and to kick off one of the greatest stories ever told. But these are just some of my favorite moments in the first 61 episodes of One Piece, the East Blue Saga. Let me know if there are any moments that you love that I didn't mention, or if you agree with all the moments on this list. As always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And of course, a big thank you to our patrons who support this channel, the Dai Yokai Miasma and Aikerochu, our Yokai Lucifina Akuma, and our Hanyo Jasmine Morales, Michael Greco, Nega Kitty, Simon Electric, Anthony Hogan, Brunette Thrasher, and Randy Moseyman. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, remember to stay excellent.